I just don't know how feasible it is. I'm not saying it's impossible.
No, I think love is in the air.
It is.
Yeah.
They trying to taint it. They trying to taint this thing called love.
Get on my motherfucking face. Please.
Push the goddamn button.
Action.
Hola. Welcome to another episode of the Grae Area podcast.
Grae Area.
Yeah.
I am Shakoya D.
Sir Breezington here.
It's your boy Damani.
And if this is your first time joining us, this is a podcast about whatever we feel like talking about. It could be love. It could be life. It could be movies. It could be anything or nothing at all. We have great conversations and we just wanted to bring those to you and have you join in on our conversation. I forgot, but don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And also, if you want to watch our podcast live, if you want to join in on the conversation, steer the conversation, different things like that, be sure to join our Patreon for the low price of $3 a month. You can watch us live as well as early because we actually record these podcasts about a month and a half in advance. So yeah, be a part of the Grae Area. Join us on our journey. And you'll get access to the live podcast as well as other content, including our food review show.
Who made this?
And our other show where we just gather together.
The rice is done.
And we make dinner and talk to you guys. So, yeah. I've done enough talking. How y'all feeling today?
Splendid.
Doing good.
Every time I say splendid, I think of a sugar package.
That's Splenda.
Really?
Yes.
Never knew.
But no cigar.
I'm feeling good too. I'm like well rested and it feels good, but it feels strange. So I don't know. I'm just enjoying it at this point.
Saturdays are my like wind down days. I don't really want to do nothing, but I be wanting to do stuff.
Yeah. I think I
It's
haven't
peculiar.
really wanted to do anything because I've been needing to actually rest, and I realized this morning I'd be so caught up in trying to like make the most of my time that I don't allow myself to rest. I'm trying to like make the most of the time that I'm awake. But yeah, I rested.
I realized this rising that it's imperative that I just sleep.
That's about it.
Let me check the comments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been beautiful.
Greetings, TV land.
Hello.
Yeah, I let myself sleep in, but I also went to sleep, like, as Damani says, when sleep was calling, I went to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, I sleep at 4. Got up at 10 though. Refreshed. All I need is 6 hours. 6 hours is a good sleep. I ain't wake up to no alarm. It's easier for me to wake up to a dog shaking or something than an alarm. It's a lot more comforting.
Yeah,
So-
alarms are a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Soon, I'll be waking up just off of vibes and no alarm clock. But, that was weird. What are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about unconditional love. Do you feel like love is unconditional or can be unconditional?
Do we feel like it is or it can be? Are we answering both questions or one or the other? Are we starting with one?
However you,
Yeah, whatever.
whatever's clever, Trevor.
Okay, I don't think that love is always unconditional. I think there are people who have conditions for their love. I think that it can be unconditional. I feel like that's possible. I feel like even when we talk about like the love of God and stuff like that, I feel like love can be unconditional. But I don't know if that is for a human being. Sometimes I feel that unconditional love can be detrimental to yourself.
I feel like the word love is thrown around all the time. like the act of love, I feel like love is unconditional. I feel like once conditions are put on it, it's not, you're not, the conditions aren't put on love. Like, because something could happen and you still love
them.
the person. So it's like, now it is, I think love is unconditional, but I don't know the words that I'm trying to use, but the conditions aren't based on the love.
You're saying like true love is actually unconditional because it is what it is, but people often put conditions, tie conditions to the idea of love, not to the actual love.
That's a fair point.
So I feel like it's easier to put conditions on, like, okay, if you keep doing this, I'll like you, or I'll tolerate you longer. But if you love somebody or something, I feel like the love is always there. And like you were saying, being detrimental, you could love something so much that it turns to hate or anger or frustration. You can love something to a point where you resent it or you hate it just because you don't know how to
set
boundaries, manage it. So with that being said, I feel like this is a theory I have. Love may be the only real emotion.
Everything else is just an offshoot of love.
Yeah, because you don't know how to manage or handle love.
That's fair.
What are your thoughts?
I have a few of them, but I like that love is the only real emotion. I mean, yeah, it could just be everything could be offshoot, but in regards to unconditional love, I think unconditional love is a thing, and I think love by itself, like the act of loving something, in theory, it should be unconditional. I'll put it like this. I think it's ideal to talk about, like, we should give unconditional love, but I think the only people that should get unconditional love are, like, the only time you're gonna actually see it is like kids and like animals, right? Everything else, because I can, again, like you talk about, I can love you, but if you're doing harmful things to me, it shouldn't be on an unconditional basis. Like, it shouldn't be like, for a regular person, I don't know if you should or you should allow unconditional love for every single person, because, like, they can harm you. There's things that, like, there's certain things that you shouldn't tolerate if you love yourself unconditionally, that you shouldn't, allow. Yeah, because if that's the case, then it's like anybody can do anything to you and you should still love them. I don't necessarily. I think kids deserve unconditional love, because it's like, at least from a parent, because it's like they didn't choose to be here, and it's like, two, it's like those are the people that created them. And I think same thing with animals is, like, I think they don't have a choice. I think everybody else, it sounds good to give unconditional love to everybody else, but I don't think it's healthy to give unconditional love to everybody else.
So you're saying, I'm trying to like figure out the two together, like the 2 points together. So, like, you're saying the noun, the thing that is love is actually unconditional, but the action of loving should not be unconditional, or it is not unconditional.
Yeah. Like, I think it's hard to, like, I don't think people should give everybody unconditional love, if that makes sense.
I don't think love means that you allow yourself to be disrespected, harmed, or anything. Like Shakoya was saying about boundaries. I love you, but I'm not tolerating this.
That's a condition, though.
No, I still love you.
Yeah.
But I can love you from a distance. I can love you, but not tolerate certain things. Like, if you do this, I'm not going to not love you anymore, but I choose not to be around you, not to associate with you, or do this, and this.
But I think that is also proving his point, though. What you're talking about is the love the thing. Like, that doesn't stop.
Yeah,
That's still an ongoing thing. But the actions behind the love, how the love is expressed, is no longer the same because you did whatever you did. So now I have to distance myself. So the love as an action, it looks different. It changes on the condition that you did whatever thing, whatever betrayal you did. But I still love you. Love is still love. The love is not. The love is not determined by the condition. The love is, but the action of how it's expressed is shifted.
I don't feel like the actions. Actions are completely separate than love, in my opinion. Like how I'm speaking on it.
Yeah, you're talking about the thing.
From a different point.
You're talking about the action.
Yeah, because I think, because again, when you look at it, like, all right, Nova, for example, if you have a pet, right? And you talk about all the time, no matter what she does, you're still gonna love your dog, right? That's like, and it's as it should be, right? Because that's a display of unconditional love. Like, you can tear up the house, I can be mad, but I still love you, right? For other people, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I can be mad. I can feel however I want to feel. I still love you, but we not moving.
But it doesn't. I don't think it works like that for everybody. I think it sounds like it should, but I don't think it works. I think in general, like we talk to. I love people. Everybody doesn't get the same level of unconditional love.
I love everyone. I don't like everybody. That's the thing.
That's the condition.
Like, love and like are different.
Yeah.
So I still have the love for everybody, regardless of how they act and what they doing. But I can choose whether or not I'm around them, whether or not I speak to them. The love is there, but I'm just not
expressing it the same.
I wouldn't say expressing.
I feel like the expression is different if the level of like is like. I feel like, okay, let's say, okay, hold on, let me read this comment first and I'll say what I was gonna say. She said, love is love is hard to express. We were taught what love is from our parents at the beginning, but then love changes as we get older from the actions we see around us. Like, if we're doing, this is about to be a weird example, but let's say there's an Excel sheet or something like that, right?
Love on the spreadsheet is hilarious.
And alright, the spreadsheet is love, right? Okay. So let's say you want to change the conditions of how you filter stuff, like, or how stuff, like, when something is put in, it's automatically going into whatever category. So the condition that you put in is like. So, like, if you like this thing, it automatically gets expressed in joy. Like, it'll go to the joy side of the spreadsheet or the joy side of the chart. And then if the condition is dislike, it goes to the either like distance column or like the anger column or something like that. And like, so love is still love. The chart is still love. This is all still love. The condition is how much I like you. But that in turn is based off of what did you do? Or how do you act? Or what is your personality? I feel like like you were saying, the love is still unchanged. Like, it's still love. Like, even when you fall out of love with people, I guess not fall out of love with people. Even when you break up with people, a lot of times the love, a love to a certain extent is still there, right? If it was actual love, right? But depending on what they did, I don't know if I like you. And I think that's when it comes to, like, when people be like, I don't know if love is enough. We be watching these I'll be watching these dating shows. And they be like, well, I love you, but I don't know if love is enough. It's like, well, I don't like you, or I dislike a lot of the things that you did. I still love you, but it's leaning towards you get on my nerves type of category, type of thing. I don't know if I'm making sense at all, y'all, but...
No, I think you are. I think me and Bridge are making two slightly different points. I agree with your point. I just think in everyday life, it's hard to, like, for us to practice unconditional love. Like, I think for us to display unconditional love, like when you were talking about, oh, I got love for everybody. That's you displaying your version, the feeling of unconditional love. I have a level of love for everybody. I think but everybody doesn't get the same. They don't get the same access to that unconditional love, I guess, is what I'm more so saying. Because, like, again, if we're talking about Nova, we're talking about kids. If you have a kid, no matter what your kid does, you're still gonna love them, right? For other people, it's not the same. They don't get that same level. It's like if you do something harmful to somebody I love, it's not the same. You don't get the same pass. Like, that's not how this works. So I think it's, again, ideally I would love for everybody to. I think if everybody did display unconditional love in that way, then we would be better. But I don't think it's realistic in an everyday scenario. Just because, and even if we're not even talking about just people, like, think about things that you love. Why do you love the things that you love, right? And most of the time, it's because it makes you feel a certain way. So if you take that feeling away, do you still love it? And it's like, if the answer is no, then that's not unconditional.
Right. I definitely understand like the actionable part.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, just like the comment, was it J2?
Yeah.
J2!
What they do?
She was saying love is one thing when we're younger, and then as we grow and get older, it changes. We're shown how to love, or how love should look, instead of following the feeling of love. We're following examples of people who don't even know what love is or how to even express love themselves. So it's unconditional love should be the norm. But if we're following the lead of people who don't even know what love is or never felt love, it's hard to express love. Like, just on a regular basis, on a surface level, it's hard to, like, even like if you're walking past people, just say what's up. Like, it's another person. I see you. Like, the what's up, that's a form of love, because I see you. But I might do that because sometimes I felt like I wasn't seen.
Yeah.
So I just, even like homeless people, I'm gonna give you eye contact. Sometimes I'm gonna still say no, but I'm gonna let you know that I see you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be the blessing today, but I see you.
Somebody,
Yeah. So J2 said, why did it make me think of Titanic for a minute? Jack and Rose. So she loved him even after death, all the way to her death. She loved him throughout her life. Like, he died on the Titanic and she still loved him. I mean, I think love is like energy. It's like, it cannot be, I don't know, it can't be destroyed. It can just be like transferred and stuff like that. And I feel like for us, and like you were saying, us walking around and watching people and like learning what love is in this world, or what it's supposed to look like, that definitely shifts a lot of our perspective on what I guess we perceive love to be or to look like. Because when we're little, like when we're kids, we probably already, I think being a child and being born, we probably are born with like the purest level of love. Like, we have this concept of what love is, even if we don't know what any other emotions are or really what the name of love is. It's like we have this concept of what love is. And I feel like that's why a lot of times when I don't know, when a child says something to you versus when an adult says something to you, like when they be like out of the mouths of babes and stuff like that, it'd be like,
Never heard that one.
you never heard that? Mom says that.
Never heard that one.
You never heard our family say that? Okay. Anyways, guess it was just me. But it's like they give you when
I wasn't loved in that one.
When they give you, like, if a child says something that's maybe very blunt or like a harsh truth, is you take it more with like oh, like I don't know, it's received differently because there's a certain level of love there, and it's like, oh, your opinion hasn't really been tainted by the world just yet. For a lot of kids, but it's just like, I don't know.
Woo! Thank you.
I don't know if I'm actually explaining this right, but I do feel like there's like a level of pure love that we're born with, that as we go through the world and we start to experience life, we start to experience whatever joys, disappointments, and different things like that, the idea of pure love and what love should be or what it should feel like, it starts to shift, even based off of movies, TV, books, stuff like that.
Like, I think as kids, right, the only examples we have of kids, when we look at our parents, that's the first time we get an example of what unconditional love is supposed to be. And sometimes it's not from that perspective. It might not look like, it might not always look healthy. It might not always look positive, right? You'll see, like, as a kid, you might see your parents and it's like, oh, they went through blah X, Y, and Z, and they still love each other. And it's like, now you're going out and expecting that you should do that for other people, which is like, as a kid, you're supposed to, like, as a kid, you're supposed to make the mistakes, and your parents are supposed to still love you regardless of the mistakes. Like, because it's like, again, you didn't choose to be here. But as an adult, when people make mistakes, right, it's hard to say you're supposed to love them in spite of whatever they're doing, because it's like, it's a different circumstance. So it's like, that's why I say I think kids deserve unconditional love. I think animals deserve unconditional, because they don't. It's like they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything to you to deserve the whatever else. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense, but yeah.
I'm still pro unconditional love, but I feel like love is love, but love shouldn't allow you to be stupid or blind to anything. Like, you can still love people and be aware. So now you can move accordingly.
But that's the thing. If we're watching other people who, like, don't necessarily have a love like that they're not blind to things, or they don't have a love where they communicate, or they don't have a love where there's actual, like, a visible expression of love. If we're watching those things, then in our minds, like, okay, this is what love looks like, so this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, this is okay, like, I'm supposed to find somebody that's like this, like, or I'm supposed to find somebody that's like this. And that's why a lot of people like the toxic relationships. Like, people be just loving the toxicity, and they be mad when, oh, we don't argue and you ain't never hit me type of thing. Like, people love that. Yeah. I don't know about the hit me thing. I went a little far, but people love that stuff because a lot of times, like, that's what they've seen. So they're like, all right, well, if you don't argue with me every single night, then this can't be love, because that's not how my mom loved my dad. Or if people be like this, if you don't cheat on me, then you don't really love me. If you don't lie to me, then you don't love, those types of things. It's like, because that's what we see.
But I feel like that's the problem. Love is a feeling thing, like you were saying earlier. We focus too much on what we see. We know that this not how it's supposed to be. Just because it's accepted, it doesn't make it acceptable. Love is a feeling thing. So how does this make me feel? And I feel like you can only display unconditional love if you love yourself unconditionally.
Yes.
Yeah, because you should, though. And I don't think we approach it like that, but it should be like, I love myself, like, irregardless of whatever conditions I'm going through. Like, regardless of when I'm at my best, regardless of when I'm at my worst, right? I don't know if we can grant everybody that same, on paper we should grant everybody that same level of grace, but I don't know if it's, because sometimes it's like, you in your worst state is hurting me. So, like, in order for me to love myself, I can't give you that same level of love that I would have liked to. So I guess it's still all love, but
I don't think that love goes anywhere. I feel like the access to me, it may be what changes. So like the love is still there, but I'm not able to be there how I was there. That doesn't take away any way that I feel.
Well, I have a different theory. So, just like I said, like, okay, maybe like love is like energy, it can't be destroyed. So, what if it's more so of a thing where, okay, yes, the love is still there, but rather than giving the love to you, I decide to give the love to myself. Like, rather than me staying in this detrimental situation, I decided to take some of that love that I was giving to you, that energy that I was giving to you, and I decided to give more of it to me. So then you have less of my love. Not saying that the love is gone, but I have more of my love. So now I'm getting closer to allowing myself to have unconditional love versus me just loving you unconditionally. Because I think that is probably the thing that we actually do need to think about is giving ourselves unconditional love versus giving everybody else unconditional love. Because I can't do anything for you that I'm not doing for myself for real. Like, it's the whole idea of pouring from an empty cup. If I don't, it's even like when you're looking for a partner, like, if you don't like yourself, like, it's 9 times out of 10, you're not going to find somebody who likes you for who you are because you don't even like you. And you have to, like, love you. You have to like who you are. And then, okay, let me go out and find... Like, a lot of times it's not until you start to love yourself unconditionally, start to understand yourself, start to, like, really spend time with yourself that finally you start to figure out, well, or somebody walks into your life and then you're like, oh, this is my person. And they love me, like, for who I am, how I love me for who I am type of thing. Like, I feel like that's something... I think that is the unconditional love. And I feel like that's the most important version of it.
Yeah, because I think the love that we talk about for other people, I mean, I think that love kind of comes and goes, which is bad to say, but like if it's like energy, it's like it kind of just like it moves. So like if you think about people that you dated in the past, it's like at one point in time, there was like nah, I do anything for you. I like this is like you were. Like there's so much stuff that I would do for you, and it's like now I still there's still love here, but I'm not going to the same lengths that I would have prior, and it's just like this mainly because our relationship has changed. Like the conditions of where we were at are different, right? Things have changed, so like the things that I would have done at that time are very different. Doesn't mean I don't love you, like I don't have love for you, but like I don't love you the way that I did. It's the same thing when we talk about. I hate making it correlation between like people and like things or whatever. But like, I'm if we were like sports, like at one point you loved like people might love a sport. You might love soccer. You might love basketball, and it's like I still have there's still a love there, but the things that I would do when I was here. Is not the same things that I'm gonna do where I'm at now, just because like the kind of love or people fall out of love with things. People fall out of love with things all the time. So I think I would love for people to give unconditional love, but I think of course it starts with you giving it to yourself. But I don't know how feasible it is for us to do it for everybody at all times. I just don't know how feasible it is. I'm not saying it's impossible.
I think love's in the air.
It is.
Yeah.
Love's in the air. They trying to taint it. They trying to taint this thing called love.
Okay, J2 said, okay, parents love their kids, but does the child still have to love their parent from the actions of their parents? Lies, manipulation, lack of communication. She says, see, my sister and I talked about this the other day. She sees the actions her friends' families have. They hug each other and kiss each other on the cheek and say, I love you before leaving the home. And my sister told me that we as kids never experienced that. We're never told I love you. Along with the action of hugs and kisses, I told her I want to break that cycle by telling my son I love him before he leaves a room and goes to do his things. School, plays with friends, and go to bed.
Yeah, Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah, because and that goes again. I think the action, which is again a slightly different topic, but still on topic. Like it's different. Like you have to. It's also different when you're trying to show somebody, like showing somebody you love them. Like it's a different thing entirely. Like the action of showing somebody as opposed to just saying it, because like your actions can, like you can say I have unconditional love for you, but like your actions say, like if you're doing that, that means you don't love me. And it's like you doing cool. You doing a certain thing, like you taking advantage of me is like, you don't. If you love me, you wouldn't do that. Like if you actually love me, you wouldn't do X, Y, Z or whatever it is. Like
like the parents probably never experienced like love, so you get in the remnants of someone who doesn't know how to effectively show love. So I feel like the only way to, I feel like the love is there, but the expression of love, that's where it's lacking.
Yeah, because go ahead.
And then the last thing I was gonna say, but then it goes back to gotta love yourself enough. I feel like the more you love yourself, the easier it is to love other people, show love, because it's in you. It's in you. Like if love is in, like whatever is in you exudes out of you.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't condone this action or however it is, however you can feel, however you want to feel. But I can't really be mad because I'm aware. I see I know, I understand. It's like it's a knowing because I am you and you are me. So however you feel, I understand. I feel how I feel too. I don't know if this making sense, but it's just how I feel.
You were about to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree, but it's also weird because like, what do you say for people who only love themselves and don't, like for the narcissists who only care about themselves, who only focus on loving themselves and don't display that for other people?
I feel like you can only, in that situation, I feel like in any situation, sorry to cut you off, in any situation, you only can love yourself how you feel you should be loved. So like if somebody else is narcissistic, I don't think you should be narcissistic, but you should love yourself unconditionally. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just how I feel.
I don't really know much about narcissism per se, but I feel like I wonder if that is just it might be like you overcompensating for love that you don't feel like you get outside of yourself. Because I think that I don't know that is unconditional love, like narcissism. I feel like it's I do think it might be an overcompensation, honestly. I was gonna say though, what you guys were talking about goes into my question, which was I had something to say about what you said, but I forgot. But my question is, do you feel that there is a way to actually express unconditional love? Because all of the things that we've been talking about have, like, okay, we decided love is love. Love is it's energy. It cannot be destroyed. But we were talking about the actions of it. We're talking about seeing how other people love or how our parents love, and then figuring out how to love ourselves based on that, or what it should look like. I know for me, I'm still learning. I'm farther on my journey now, but like I'm still learning how to like truly like love myself and take care of myself and stuff like that, because I've seen people give love to other people. I haven't seen people really love themselves in a healthy way. But so now I'm just wondering, like, is there a way, how you talked about before, you said you can say that you love somebody unconditionally, but like to express it, like how do you express that you love somebody unconditionally? Like, what does that look like? Is it possible to display that?
I was gonna say, my answer to this as of right now is, I was gonna say love is kind, love is bold. I feel like
Love is red and love is gold.
no, like, love is kind, love is bold. It's like a leadership, guidance, love. I feel like it's a feeling. Love is nurturing. It. I don't know how do you display it.
Mm-hmm. How do you
I feel like
express
it is, in order to express it, you have to remember who you are, and I feel like it goes into authenticity. You have to be your authentic self to truly display love. That's how I feel.
Okay, so yes, I feel that, but also going into love languages. Not everybody expresses love the same, and not everybody receives love in the same way. So I don't know. I don't know. I think it might be a two-sided thing. But we're talking about expressing love, so I guess it doesn't really matter how people receive it if we're talking about expressing it right now.
I think the only way is giving people, and this is very vague, but giving people enough space to be themselves, whatever that may be. So like, I think a lot of people's lack of feeling loved is like they didn't get a chance to have the room to like to fully either fully be themselves or fully mess up or fully be them or be confident in a big way, small way, whatever it is. So it's like allowing you the room to be yourself, and it's like almost like you're an observer. It's like you'll get a chance to like, all right, I'm just watching. Like I don't, whatever you do, I love what you do regardless, but I'm giving you the space to do whatever you want to do. That's how it sounds in my head on paper. That's the only way it would work. But even still, like, I think, and even going to kind of your point about like if everything is love, it's just like if everything is love and just a mishandled version of love. Like even when somebody, like, you hear people talk about like even boundaries, right? If you tell somebody, hey, like we can continue to talk, but you can't do X, Y, and Z, and they're upset, and it's like they're probably like you maybe look at it like, all right, well, nah, if you love me, you would respect my boundary, and it's like somebody else could look at it like, well, you love me to the point that you don't want to be apart from me or whatever it is you want to be, you want access all the time, and it's like I don't know, it's just hard to love is a hard thing to quantify, I guess.
Yeah.
So like when you try to put it in I think when you try to put it in conditions, and you're trying to put it in a box, it's hard to kind of define. But I think that's also why it's hard to give everybody unconditional love. I think I don't know how you display it. I don't know how you show it to everybody, but
I feel like it may look different for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's perceived differently by everybody.
But it feels the same.
I feel like the end result of unconditional love feels the same for everybody, but it just looks different for everybody.
Okay.
The end result feels. I don't even know how I can say that. I don't know if it feels the same for everybody. 'Cause I think it's just different. It's a case by case thing. It's like an outfit.
I'm not a love master.
It's like an outfit. An outfit gonna look different on everybody.
That is true.
But
it doesn't feel the same on everybody either.
I don't think it's like an outfit.
But I guess, I mean, that makes sense because that's how you find like your people, your tribe, like the people that you love, like your significant other and stuff like that. If everybody felt the same kind of love from you, or you felt the same kind of love from everybody else, then it will be a lot harder to figure out where you fit in or where you feel comfortable.
Yeah. It's like no pun intended. It's a language. Like everybody, like you find people who speak your same language so that you guys can communicate. Not even just talking about love languages, but like literally.
Yeah.
It's easier to communicate when you guys speak the same language. Not saying you can't talk to somebody who doesn't speak the same language as you, but it's harder to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I don't know. It's interesting conversation.
Do you feel like you guys do a good job of displaying unconditional love often?
No. I don't think that I don't think that I necessarily do. Yeah, I don't. I feel like maybe it's because I'm still on my self-love journey, right? And I'm kind of I'm working on setting boundaries, right? So I'm trying to figure out what it looks like to still love unconditionally, but still also have whatever boundaries that I need. And it's not all of the boundaries is because somebody else did something. Some of it is because I was like, this isn't good for me. So let me set a boundary here. So I don't know that I do. Honestly, I'm still working on showing myself unconditional love. So for me personally, I feel like I don't always show unconditional love in, you said, in the best way or what?
I just said in general, you feel like you guys display it.
I don't feel like I always
Often,
display it in a I don't know, I think I display it in my own way, but I don't really know how it's received, but I don't know how well I'm doing at it because I'm still working on loving myself unconditionally. So
All right, yeah, I was gonna say that I'm on my way, but I'm still in the process of learning loving myself unconditionally.
mm-hmm.
Like even now, it's this thing of I believe the purpose of life is to live. So now I be like in whatever moment, what is gonna make me feel alive?
So like maybe we should look at it like in whatever moment, what is gonna make me feel the most loved?
Yeah. Yep. Even if that's doing nothing, that's what I was getting to. Well, I was about to say eluding. But what was the last thing you said? I made it funny, you know.
Maybe we should look at ourselves as like, look at it like, dang. Maybe we should look at it like, what makes me feel the most loved? Like, not what's going to make me feel the most alive, but what's going to make me feel the most loved in this moment. And you say, even if it's not doing anything.
Oh, yo, that's what it yeah, even if it's not even if it's not doing anything, sometimes we need a moment just to sit down. And
Yes.
just stop.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep till 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Just
Hallelujah.
and still feel like I had an amazing day, even if I didn't do anything. I feel like that goes into giving yourself grace.
Yep.
And giving yourself grace allows you to love yourself. Because you know you're doing the best that you can in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a weird analogy, but looking at yourself like a character in a show, and it's like would you love them regardless of what they did?
Yes.
And it's like, but when it comes to most TV shows, that's not the case. Like TV shows, be like, nah, I can't rock with him, can't do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you were to look at yourself as that, like your favorite character in the show, it's like 9 times out of 10. Even when they mess up, you're like, I still love this person. This is my favorite person. And it's like, if we look at ourselves like that, like, all right, they was tripping for a little bit, but I still love this person. Mm-hmm. Or even in the high moments, like, oh, this was amazing. I still love, like, regardless, I still love this person. And I think that's how we should probably attack it for ourselves. It's hard though.
So do you feel like you do a good job of displaying unconditional
love? I'm in the process of doing a better job. I think I do okay. But of course there's always room for improvement. Because I think just our idea of love changes as we get older, and I think it's like what I thought unconditional love when I was younger is not the same thing as now, yeah. Or I just think as we expand, we just gotta like continue to expand the definition.
But I also feel like we should get back to how we were as children, because we didn't, like, the older you get, now we're trying to put words to stuff. We're trying to identify or classify stuff, categorize stuff as this is this. But as a child, it's just like, it's a feeling.
Yeah,
So
it was
get
more
back to
feelings driven.
get back to the feeling of life, of love. And I feel like we'll be in a good place. But before you go, don't forget your point. I feel like it is hard to love unconditionally because people be having ulterior motives and they'll use you until you're not needed anymore and then they just throw you away.
That's when you gotta put a condition on it. That's when the conditions come in.
I would love for everybody to have unconditional love, but some things need conditions just to make sure everything is still in order. To be honest, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know if kids operate on 100% unconditional love. Kids operate, I like this, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, they don't necessarily care about the condition or why they don't like it. They just know, I like this, I don't like this.
That goes back to the spreadsheet. You like or dislike, and then it goes wherever.
Because like I think kids, we find like I think kids, they just kind of like, hey, I'm doing this because I like it. They have a very great gauge of, I like this, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this, and that's how they operate with everything. And I think adults should teach. Now I'm thinking about, I think adults probably, us trying to teach kids unconditional love is us being like, even if you don't like something, you can still love it, even if you don't like it. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but like we're trying to teach them, like, even if you don't like it, that doesn't mean that like you can't still have love for it. Because like a kid, if you try to give a kid a piece of broccoli, like, get out of here, I want whatever, I want that. But it's like, they're not thinking, I still love this broccoli.
Right.
It's like, no, I don't want nothing to do with that. I only want the things that I like. I only want the things that I love.
Yeah, I gotta create a love spreadsheet, J2 said.
What is love?
I want to figure it out. I want to put it in. When I edit this, I'm gonna write this down so I don't forget. But I'm gonna make a love spreadsheet. I don't know if I can do it though. It might not work out how I think. But I'm gonna try. We'll see if it makes it in the podcast.
You had another point you were gonna make?
I was gonna say, to your point, so maybe going back to when I was talking about like kids being like when I said out of the mouths of babes, and you guys didn't know what I was talking about. Their level of honesty, I was like, maybe that's like the unconditional love, like is the truth, like the honesty that is missing in, I guess, a lot of the actionable love or the displays of love that we see today. Or maybe that's why I don't know. It's another factor throughout life that you deal with, levels of honesty, levels of dishonesty, that alters your perception of what love is or how it's perceived or how it can be expressed. Versus when you're a kid, you're just pretty much just speaking your truth. You're just saying your opinion. But there's a level of love. I mean, sometimes it'd be real harsh and it'd be like, whoa, hold on, I don't even know you like that. You'd be telling me this. But sometimes it's like there's a level of love that you still feel behind it. Like a level of maybe love, maybe like innocence or purity. I'm not really 100% sure if I'm explaining this correctly. But I was just going to say that. I think that is something else that kind of like factors into it. So maybe not even like teaching I guess maybe the intent behind it isn't always going to look like I'm teaching my child how to love unconditionally. But maybe it's like I'm teaching my child how to live in their truth unconditionally. And be honest with themselves, because that's how you are able to love yourself. Like, you have to be able to be honest with yourself and to express your own truths to yourself. That don't mean you gotta be around cuss people out and tell people they ugly all the time. But it's just like, to you, like, let's be honest to yourself. Like, okay, you did this thing. Let's face it now. Let's deal with it, rather than you know, tucking it away or suppressing your feelings or whatever, you know, type of thing.
Yeah. I think parents are trying their best to give us an example of like, hey, I'm gonna give you when I was talking about the space, like I'm gonna give you the space and freedom to make as many great and bad decisions. I want you to know.
Let you
this
know,
house that you live in is love. This
it's
is
a
the love
space.
house.
It's a safe space.
Yeah, what you do in this house, that's fine. What you do on the spreadsheet, that's fine.
You might
that's
get a
fine.
beating.
Yeah,
but
you know what I'm saying? But
I
it
still
still
love
love you.
you.
Yeah.
Alright, maybe not a beating. Also, we are not parents.
We are
Do not take parenting advice from us.
We freestyling here.
Yeah. We're not parents. J2 said, kids are funny with their emotions. They don't know how to express how they feel. So how do they know what love is? I think because love is a feeling, I really just think like we're born with an innate feeling of love. I just think that's just, we're just born with it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I was talking about like when we're like little. I was talking about like little baby little. Like that's
at
like
that age, yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, the baby, they just know. They're gonna say it's happiness and it's I'm missing something.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm happy, hungry, or I just poop. I'm uncomfortable.
But still, I think like that's like I think we're born with this level of like this innate feeling of unconditional love, and I feel like that's a lot of parents, maybe not all, but a lot of parents do feel that once they have kids. But yeah, I mean that's just my thought. I don't know that because I think we're just born with it. Like we don't know how to express it. That's what we learn. That's what we're observing. That's what we're looking at in our environment is how it should be expressed. Like I have this feeling. Like now, what is this supposed to look like in this world that I was born into? And I think that's what I guess we teach our kids. But
I feel like it's for us to find out.
yeah.
As of right now, I don't really think it's conducive to try to look and see what love looks like. I feel like deep down inside, we know what we should or shouldn't do in situations.
But I think as a child, like you're not like, oh,
I'm talking about now.
Oh, you mean right now? Okay,
like
as an adult.
Big people.
Okay, big people.
As big
kids.
As
big kids, I don't think we should look around to try to see what love should look like either. Just because it looks very different to different people. Like even when people be like relationship goals, number one, I don't know what it took for you to get here. I don't know if y'all are actually happy. Like I don't know if like my love is gonna look like your love, and I don't know what your love actually looks like behind closed doors. So I think that it's best to, that's why I was saying like love yourself, figure out how to love yourself wholeheartedly, unconditionally, whatever that looks like for you, so that then you can figure out what you need. Like what do you won't even know what you need from anybody, a partner, a family member, until you like love yourself. And then it's like, all right, I see why this relationship serves me or why it doesn't. Like I can see why this is bothering me or why I need to set a boundary, or like, you know, like you won't know these things until you take inventory with yourself, but you gotta start loving yourself. You gotta give yourself that energy that you've been giving to other people.
Not the energy, the
Energy.
Love yourself.
Yeah.
Love your worth.
Exactly.
Message.
But do you guys have any other thoughts, any final thoughts on unconditional love?
God is love, bruh.
Run. That's funny. I got nothing else.
J2 said from infancy to 5 years old, kids see the world through rose-tinted glasses. Once they go to school, they are out in the world surrounded by their peers, learning from their peers as well. That's true. But as big kids,
we gotta put those rose-tinted glasses back on.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Like have one eye with the rose tinted and then have one regular eye, because sometimes you need to see what's going on. I'm just saying.
Sometimes, yeah, Yeah.
Love isn't blind, people.
It
It's like-
actually is.
Love isn't blind.
It is
Wouldn't-
blind.
Wouldn't that be the whole point of it being unconditional?
Unconditional?
It's not looking at like if love is a feeling, love is absolutely blind.
But love doesn't make you blind.
Love shouldn't make you blind.
Love shouldn't make you blind.
Yeah, I was like, but people be blinded
Don't
by
be
love.
blinded by love.
Yeah.
We cleaned it up. We figured out where we
Yeah,
was
it took
going.
us. I was like, hold on, wait.
Yeah, don't let love make you blind. If you see red flags, honor the red flags and set up some boundaries, give some energy back to yourself, move accordingly.
Yeah, love yourself enough to
Yes.
do all of those things.
I think that's like the moral of the things. Like, love yourself enough. Like, love yourself enough and unconditionally enough to do what's best for you. And not everybody's gonna be happy about it, but God will. I don't know. But thank y'all for joining us for another episode of the Grae Area Podcast.
Grae Area. Ooh.
I am Shakoya D.
Being Breeze.
It's your boy Damani.
And if you haven't already, I don't know what you're waiting for. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell a friend. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And also, subscribe to our Patreon for the low price of $3 a month. You will be able to join us live for our podcast, as well as early, because we record we record like 2 months in advance. And also you'll get to see our food review show, as well as our other show and other content. You subscribing to our Patreon allows us to make more content, more high quality content, more frequently for you guys. And we thank you for building with us and working with us. We will see you guys next week.
Adios.
Black people.
Please.
Push the goddamn button.